Thank you so much, Perkins. Amen amen. It's such a blessing to be a part of IJS in all the ways, and also just amen to your blessings for healing for all of our dear ones and for the world. And a special thanks to Natalie for doing all the tech stuff, which makes this such an easy job to have. So thank you. All right, friends, so we're going to begin sitting. Your eyes can be open or closed or anywhere in between. And I invite you to just take some moments as we prepare to slow down the motion, to move a little bit in your body, to make any adjustments, to bring in any support. Just to set yourself up in a way that will allow you to create a little bit more space for your breath and for your being. And when you feel called to gather your attention and to feel the connection of your body to your seat, to the ground, holding you steady, rooting you right here. So just take some deep and clearing breaths, signaling to yourself and to one another, even energetically, that we are safe. We have permission to rest here. So here we are, sitting in these intermediary days between Tisha B'Av, one of the saddest days in the Jewish year, and Tu B'Av, one of the more joyful and playful days, which also this year will fall on Shabbat Nachamu, a day of comfort and consolation. And so some of us may energetically be still feeling kind of weighed down by the heaviness of Tisha B'Av. Others may feel some of the ease and light that comes with the end of the summer season, maybe both. So just check in with yourself and notice what you notice. What's arising as you sit and breathe? And can you offer yourself some kind attention and acceptance about whatever is arising, whatever is showing up? Just allow yourself to be exactly as you are. Let's just take one more cycle of breath. And feel free to open your eyes if you close them. So I'm going to focus the rest of the sitting portion of our practice today in connection with this week's Torah portion. And in the parsha, Moses is continuing his speech to Bnei Yisrael, to our people. He knows that he's not going to make it into the promised land himself, and he's really intent upon making sure that we have what we need and that we remember God's covenant. And so he's reminding us of all of these important truths and tenets and things that we're supposed to do. And among that set of instructions, this week's Torah portion actually includes within it the Shema and the Ve'ahavta. And I'd like to use that as a focus for our practice. So Natalie, if you'll be kind enough to bring up the source sheet, beautiful. All right. So these are ancient words which are so central to not only Jewish thought, but Jewish practice. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. And here I'll begin by sharing a sort of interpretive translation by Reb Zalman Schachter Shlomi. May he rest in peace. Listen, you, Yisrael person, your own name, fill in the blank. Yah, who is our God. Yah, who is one, all unique, all there is. So these words of Shema, of course, are deeply familiar to many of us. And in fact, the word Shema comes from the verb lishmoa, which is a key word in the book of Dvarim, in Deuteronomy, where I think it appears like 92 times or something like that. And by way of comparison, it only appears in the book of Leviticus like 6 times. And it conveys, as Hebrew often does, a very wide range of meaning. It can mean to listen or pay attention, to hear, to understand, to internalize or take to heart, and to respond in action, as in to obey. So it's a rich word that contains multitudes. And for our practice, I want to invite us to consider the call of Shema in the context of listening and paying attention. But what are we supposed to listen and pay attention to? So ultimately, of course, that's up to you. But I want to offer 2 suggestions. And the first is to listen to that kol dmama daka, that still small voice. And so here I'll share another interpretive translation, this time by Rabbi Arthur Waskow. Shema Yisrael, listen, you God wrestlers. Pause from your wrestling and hush to hear Adonai. Hear in the stillness the still silent voice, the silent breathing that intertwines life. Adonai Eloheinu, breath of life, is our God. What unites all the varied forces, creating all worlds into oneness, each breath unique and all unified. Adonai Echad, Yah is one. So again, one suggestion, listening to that still, small voice, pause your wrestling and just listen to that internal voice. Or choose to listen to your own breath, which according to the mystics is actually God's ineffable name. So this time in the words of Rabbi Lawrence Kushner, the word Adonai, Yud-He, Vav-He, is the sound of breathing. The holiest name in the world, the name of our Creator, is the sound of your own breathing. That these letters are unpronounceable is no accident, just as it is no accident that they are also the root letters of the Hebrew verb to be. God's name is being itself. Okay, so these are simply invitations for practice, as always. If they're helpful, wonderful. If not, just allow them to fall away and trust your own practice. Okay. So Natalie, you can take the text down, and I invite you to find your seat once again. Your eyes can be open or closed or anywhere in between. And I invite us to take this time to simply sit and breathe and listen, Shema. If listening to the voice in your mind, in your heart, in your breath is too difficult, maybe listening for ambient sounds, just sounds in your environment. And allow the truth that arises when you hear what you hear to just rest gently as signs upon our hands and symbols before our eyes. And if you wish, you might even use the 4-letter divine name as your focal point. And so I'm going to lead us for just a moment, and then we'll continue silently, and I'll bring us together with the sound of my voice at the end. So feel free to begin with me. Yud, the point of rest before the inhalation. Hey, breathing in. Vav, gentle pause with filled lungs. Hey, breathing out. Yud, a moment to rest before the inhalation. Hey, breathing in. Vav, a gentle pause holding the breath. And hey, let it go. We'll continue silently. begin to deepen your breath. And I invite you to place one hand on your heart. Vehayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. Place these words onto your hearts, our tradition teaches us. The words of Torah, the words of our very being speaking to us, the words of our prayer, maybe even the breath. Place that on our hearts so that when our hearts crack open, those words are right there, ready to fall in and awaken us. With gratitude for the gift of coming together to listen deeply and to breathe, I invite us to close with a prayer. And Natalie, you can feel free to bring the text sheet up again. This is a prayer that invites God, however you imagine that power beyond or within that source of life, to listen to us, even as we endeavor to listen to God. And I invite you to join me responsively. I know I can't hear you in terms of your actual voice, but I really can hear you energetically. I think we can all hear each other. And so I invite us to do this call and response style, even on mute, with the hope that God will hear our prayers, have compassion on us, answer us as we go on into the day and days ahead. Elecha Adonai ekra ve'el Adonai etchanan Elecha Adonai ekra ve'el Adonai etchanan Shema Adonai ve'choneni Adonai ozer li Shema Adonai ve'choneni Adonai ozer li. Back to Firkins.
Wow. Am I unmuted? Yeah, I am. Wow, Jenny, thank you for that really beautiful and for me personally, much needed teaching. I was reminded at the end, oh, well, I'll say this in the question and answer period. We turn our practice now to Kaddish for those among us who are in mourning. Natalie, can you please make sure the chat is open? Because I don't think it was before. Thanks. So please put the name, if you're in mourning for anyone, you'd like to remember someone, please put their name in the chat. And we invite everybody to join in, please, to recite Kaddish and to rise in body or in spirit as we recite together. And everybody can unmute. Buchdahl,
Buchdahl,
Kadash me Rabba, Rabba V'Yam, Uriel Necha V'Chaye V'Chol Beit Yisrael, B'Zman Karim V'Imamim, Rabba Mevarach V'Yeh, Ha'ar V'Raman V'Naseh Elam Kol Atar Shirata Das Shama Li'Yishmael Amen Shlama Rabban Shemaya Shem Aleinu Kol Yisrael V'Imamim Lamav Shalom Li'Kol Yisrael V'Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'Imru Amen.
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 Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I know that some of you may have to leave now, but for those who wish to stay, we can do some question and answer with Jenny for the next 15 minutes. So let me see if anybody has any questions. Jenny, I was so humbled and silent after your beautiful teaching. I sort of was a little speechless there for a moment. Sorry for my
Yay.
awkwardness as we moved into cottage. I was like literally without words. And I was reminded of something I read about Mother Teresa and her prayers. And someone said, once asked her, what happens when you pray? And she said, I listen to God. And the person said, and what does God do? And she said, God listens to me. And I just love that idea of us both listening and silence.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, your teaching was really beautiful. All right, so those of us who are here, do you have questions, anyone, for Jenny about her teaching, about the Shema, about practice in general? While we're waiting for some questions, I will say that first of all, I loved when you unpacked the word Shema, which actually I chose Shimona for my Hebrew name when I converted based on the Shema, but I had never heard the definitions to respond and to take to heart. To hear deeply is to take to heart, but then under the idea of to respond was just, I'll be sitting on that for a while. And I was really grateful for your invitation to remember that our most central prayer, the Shema, and our most central activity, really as human beings, breathing, are so intimately connected.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a beautiful reminder for me to sit with that.
Good. And I know for myself that I think somebody also mentioned this in the chat that I think Barbara, yes, it's so easy to recite the Shema in a rote way. I grew up actually standing for Shema, and that's some people's practice, and we did it kind of quickly. And even as a young person, I felt sort of unable to keep up with this. I knew that this was such an important moment and such an important set of words, but to really take them in. And so when I was introduced to the practice of even just giving each word of the Shema its own time, its own breath, I found that to be really, really helpful and hold that with me to this day, even when I'm praying and I'm in a rush, to just slow down and really, really give myself time to even hear myself say it and integrate it into my being. So yeah, it's a reminder to slow down in and of itself.
Yes, to really slow down and not to do it by rote. Well, all of our prayers, right? And especially the Shema. And and I'll also say that sometimes when I'm in services, I kind of want someone, the cantor, to come to the edge of the bema and like almost grab me by the lapels, or maybe I want to grab myself by the lapels and say, like, listen up, girlfriend. This is important stuff. Like, pay attention. Pay attention. Um, and so I'm always struck, like, at least in our synagogue, the Shema is said very quietly. And I sort of like, maybe I'm a little slower than other people. I need a slap across the face, like pay attention. Oh,
Right, right. I mean, you're sort of referencing the spiritual alarm clock that is Elul.
yes.
So it is
Yes,
this
yes, I love
this is
that.
upon us, that um I have a yoga teacher who will say, this is all for the sake of your awakening. And and the truth is that some of us, we all wake up with different kinds of alarm clocks. Some of us need a blaring sound to get us up and out of sleep, and some need something more gentle. And perhaps every day or every moment is different. So I think it's a wonderful thing just to consider for ourselves. Uh, Perhaps in a moment in which we're feeling really overstimulated, overwhelmed, can we do Shema with a gentleness, with a
Mm,
just
mm,
a gentle call, just a gentle knock on the door. And then other moments when we're like really asleep at the wheel of our lives. and uh, and and it's dangerous to continue to be so. Can the Shema sound the alarm for us in such a way that we really truly snap out of it?
mm. Well, and that's captured in the what we're doing, the Elul project about the shofar project rather about this year. The sound of the shofar is to wake us up. And his book is, I love the title, this is real and you are completely unprepared. Like, wake up. There's
Yeah.
some questions here today. Now, where are they? Um, source sheet, I think maybe we can put the link in for that.
Piece here about covering your eyes. Um,
Yes.
the way that I was always taught is that we close our eyes so that we can heighten the sensitivity of that act of listening. Sometimes when we close off one sense, we're able to literally amplify another sense. So
Mm,
we close
mm,
off the distraction of our eyes, at least for that portion of the prayer. And then
mm. That's beautiful. So someone else, Beryl asks, is it okay or permissible to say the Shema in any circumstance throughout the day and to go to sleep at night? I find myself saying it to recenter and balance. It's a lovely practice.
yeah, I think that's so great and so similar to sort of the meditation practice. It's like, okay, sure, there is a formal practice of meditation when we sit and we create this container, to say we're in formal practice here. And then there are the many mind potential for the many mindful moments throughout the day when we remember, either we are reminded by something that happens in or around us, or we remind ourselves. And so too with the Shema, we have these formal moments traditionally obligated to say in the morning and in the evening, but the rabbis created a whole other bedtime ritual connected to the Shema additionally, because they thought this is a great way to go to sleep. And so if this serves as a helpful mantra, I think interspersing it, there are far worse things to intersperse throughout the day. So
Exactly.
I would say it's there for the taking.
I'm not a rabbi, but I think there are no hard, fast rules about this. Um, let's see, there was something I wanted to read, and Harris had commented, and where is it? Sorry, everybody. Oh, here it is. Ilan had said, incorporating the oral quality of breath into the practice was something new to me and added a new dimension to the Shema. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Great, great.
And Harris,
Another great basic practice to bring in.
yeah, and I liked Harris's comment too. The quietest place I could find to sit today is a hotel lobby that's playing some sort of music fairly loudly. And I was somehow able to hear my breath underneath that, a reminder that it's always possible to do so.
Wow.
A really important reminder. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's such a beautiful reminder to all of us that we don't have to wait for like all the conditions to be perfect.
Mm,
And we can, it's reminding me, I'm remembering when I had my first baby, and I was in the practice of putting on tefillin every morning and having a regular kind of shacharit morning prayer practice. And I don't know why it didn't dawn on me, but it was my first baby, and that my whole world was sort of altered by this new being that I was nursing and taking care of and sleep deprived from. And I remembered the moment when I realized, okay, my morning and my evening Shema would be with a baby resting on my chest. Uh,
mm,
and sometimes it was loud and I was half asleep, or there were other things going on, but it need not happen under these sort of idealized
mm,
or prior conditions. We can find it anywhere if we really listen.
mm. That's a beautiful story. And I think Susan's comment follows from that beautifully. She says, well, she asks, I guess, might everything we experience be for the sake of our awakening? That's the lens I endeavor to keep,
Mm. Amen.
right? I mean, the goal, right, is to take our practice off the cushion, to bring the tablets off the mountain
Mm-hmm.
and into our lives.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, are there any more comments here? Oh, can you say more about when we say the Shema traditionally? I guess you did,
Yeah.
bedtime ritual. Yep. Why do we say a bedtime Shema?
I mean, I think the rabbis just thought this is a beautiful, beautiful way to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And of course, there are other ritual moments. There's the final Shema that is traditionally said when somebody's on the precipice of death, and other moments when we ritually say Shema.
Mm,
But maybe I'll just, oh, those who've never seen the Shema signed in ASL, that's beautiful also. Um, Maybe I'll just also add that one of the ways we can bring Shema off the cushion, off the mountain is when we listen to each other.
mm, mm,
And that listening, I hope for myself that
mm,
cultivating the capacity to listen to myself, to listen to God, is for the sake actually of being able to listen to each other
mm,
with more capacity
mm,
and acuity.
mm.
So may we
Yeah.
may we endeavor to do that as well.
Yeah. The practice of sacred listening.
Mhm.
Um, oh, Ricky left a note about the Shema.
Mhm.
Um, Jenny, thank you for this beautiful teaching. Thank you, everyone, for being here today in this really precious community of listening and presence and sharing. And thank you, Natalie, for holding the tech piece. And thank you, everyone. And I will see people tomorrow. And Jenny, thank